Hello again from PoorManSurvival.com. This is Calvin here with another review for you. This is a Dan Wesson 357 Magnum revolver. And short history, Dan Wesson used to be in Munson, Mass. They've since moved. They were a real heavy manufacturer and competition grade revolvers back when revolvers were very heavily in the steel plate game. One of the key features with the Dan Wesson revolvers, and one of my favorite things, is the removable barrels. So this front section of the barrel comes off, and let me just show you it's unloaded. Okay, nothing there. So that's another, well, we'll show you, that's another kind of interesting piece. The cylinder or cylinder release is here in front of the front of the cylinder. So, you know, I know on a lot of the guns it's in the back, this one's in the front. I like it because when I do tactical reloads with a revolver, I switch hands to get my speed loader with my right hand, and I load to the front. So I like this to be able to carry it in this manner. Okay, I know this is kind of not a wide angle lens, I apologize. Working on getting a better camera. So, having said that, to the front here, this inner wall is your actual barrel. Let's get a little more light. All right. This inner wall here is the actual barrel. The rest of this is more or less barrel shroud. There's a tool that goes in there, pops off the front barrel, and you can interchange barrels. They made 2, 4. This is a 6-inch barrel on this one. They made 8. I've personally seen a 10. And I have a gentleman I know who used to work at the factory, and he told me they made a Hunter model in 44 mag that you could get with a 12 and a 14-inch barrel. Haven't personally seen them, but I would love to. That must be quite the impressive handgun. So I picked this one up really inexpensive on the used market. I'm a big fan of 357 Magnum. Being able to shoot 38s is just an extra bonus. My son is 13 years old, loves shooting the big revolvers. I usually load them up with the 38, and you know, you can save a little bit of money there. And but I enjoy the 357. I've killed many coyotes with this gun. It's just a really good gun. So this has a set of Pachmayr grips on it. I bought it this way. They're a nice grip, and they give a lot of grip. You know, they're tacky and they give a nice grip. So having the sights, this one, as you can see, if I can line them up, has a standard white blade in the front and just your V in the back, and it just, you know, it's a good gun. I've shot a lot of steel plate with this, a lot of bowling pins with this, and like I said, I've used it for hunting as well. 357 is a great round. You know, I have carbine chambered in 357 also that we'll be talking about. Marlin lever action carbine, pre-buyout Marlin, but we'll talk about that when we get into lever guns. So a good combo. A lot of people ask about the combo guns, about the, you know, should I get a high point, or should I get, you know, with a 9mm combo or whatever. Personally, you know, 357 you're going to be able to find just about anywhere. Thank God it's not as popular around as the 9s and 40s and 45s. I like a revolver and a lever action. Granted, I have the M&P. I've had plenty of Glocks, and I have a lot of 9mm and 40s. But especially for backwoods, you can load the heck out of a straight wall 357 cartridge and really get the job done. So I really like 357. I like 44 too, but 357 is a great all-around round for people who maybe can't take the recoil of the bigger guns, you know. So as you can see, it's got the Dan Wesson stamp right there. And this is, you know, it's a meaty gun. This is not a lightweight gun, so it eats up a lot of that recoil. But definitely, you know, I would say definitely a competitor to the Smith & Wessons and the Tauruses and the Rugers. It definitely holds up well. I have thousands of rounds through this gun, and no complaints, you know. And I picked it up used, you know, I want to say $250, $275. They, you know, here in New England, they were made in New England. Maybe we're going to pay a little more. Maybe we're going to pay a little bit less. Gentleman who had this one, he happened to work at the factory, and he had several. And this is the one he was willing to part with. Yeah, it's not in the best of shape, you know. It's been a little beat up, and like I said, I've carried it in the woods and I've shot the heck out of this gun. But no complaints at all. I mean, just takes abuse and keeps on ticking. So just wanted to throw that out there. This is another viable choice in the used market for a good revolver, 357 or 44, although they made some weird calibers. Back in, you know, steel plate days in the 80s and, you know, 80s and early 90s, there was some guys making these things. You know, there was some 460s floating around. There was some really weird stuff floating around coming out of Dan Wesson. You know, and people buy these and say, oh, it's difficult to get the barrels. Yes, guys gobble these barrels up. I am told that the Dan Wesson factory, if you approach them about once a year, every 2 years, they do make a run of some barrels, and if you're lucky enough, you can get some. Unfortunately, you're going to pay for them. They're not cheap. There is a petition going around that I have signed to try and get Dan Wesson to start creating these again. Rumor is they're going to start doing it. I haven't shot any of their semi-autos, but I do know I've heard real good things about their 1911s. So, you know, maybe you can reach out there, but keep an eye on the used market. These are great guns, and they will take abuse for years and years. You know, as you can see, real wide hammer, you know, and a lot of these were steel plate guns. You know, a lot of these were steel plate guns, and they work real well. You know, it has the falling safety. I mean, these guns were really ahead of their time. You know, they're really ahead of their time with the firing pin and not having a hammer spur. These were just great guns. So keep your eyes open. Always a good choice. The Dan Wesson 357 Magnum Revolver. Thanks again for checking this out at poormansurvival.com. We appreciate your views. Please like and share. Sorry about the light was a little low tonight. I wanted to get a couple videos in before we completely lost the light. And we'll be having shooting videos coming up of a lot of different guns, and we're going to be having a lot of fun here. So thank you, and please come back.